Citizens, you are officially in the incinerator. Welcome to Incense and Common Sense, the live streams that we do here in the Alert Zone. I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes to get in here, and then I'm gonna get the show going. This is an impromptu live. I hadn't had a chance to really get to it, give a notice, but I'm going ahead on and uh, we're gonna have a discussion. So this is an impromptu. I give y'all a couple minutes. Using Drew's stream until a couple minutes ago. Thank you for being here. I'll give it another couple minutes. We're gonna have some things we're gonna discuss tonight, and give everybody a few minutes to get into the live stream. Hope everybody's having a good day, a good evening. As you come in, get the likes up to spread the algorithm. The likes doesn't necessarily mean you agree with everything. It's just a favor that you're doing to the content creator to get the message out. Because maybe there's somebody you know that agrees with this message or need to hear it. So, yeah, I know it's an impromptu. A couple more minutes. 2 minutes and 31. Probably gonna get dark out here. Let's get it. You know, when I started the Alert Zone, I made it clear. Sometime we was gonna have some uncomfortable conversations here in the Alert Zone about the Second Amendment. And as I cruised YouTube, I looked at how over the last 4 or 5 years, what I call GunTube or Second Amendment media, or everybody that does Second Amendment programs, when it got to certain topics, a lot of people was afraid of offending people, and they wanted to be politically correct. When I came into this channel, I made it clear we was gonna have some uncomfortable conversations, and if this not your cup of tea, I understand. It's not for everybody. This channel ain't gonna be for everybody, and I understand that. I told you guys we was gonna have to show how race and politics affect the Second Amendment. And I always like to come with receipts or where you can go to get the receipts, as they say in the internet world. I always like to direct you to where you can go and back up what I said. And if I misspoke or if I said something wrong, you can call me on it. I'm not thin-skinned. I'm gonna tell you what was the catalyst for tonight's program is down in Florida. Damn, his name's Sipo. It's so much of an impromptu live. I forgot his damn name. Y'all forgive me. You know what? Forget it. As I go on, you guys will figure it out where you can go and get the full story. So, on the 4th of July, there was an incident that took place down in Defiant Springs, Florida. I hope I'm saying that right. In which a guy had to defend himself. Now, Florida is a stand your ground state. Everybody know that. Everybody knows since the whole Zimmerman thing That was the test of the stand your ground. He was allowed to run his ground. I'm not going to get into all the politics of that. I told you guys about the employee at Dunkin' Donuts that had the guy come up in there to attack him. He punched the guy out. The guy wound up losing his life later, and the manager wound up having to take a plea deal for defending himself. Well, this guy is all on video. At the end of the live stream, you guys can go and research it for yourself. This guy is a regular at this particular Sipo, I forget his last name. It's a regular at this restaurant in this particular strip mall. Comes down there all the time. They say he's well spoken, and he's on camera walking up. You got two guys sitting in a pickup truck. They start calling him names. They jump out the costume and what have you, and he doesn't exchange any kind of words with them. And they keep taunting him or whatever. There's a smoke shop. He goes in the smoke shop. Now this is Florida where you stand your ground. You don't have the duty to retreat. They leave and come back. When they come back, they had already threatened to kill him. When they come back, they got a gun. This guy defended himself. From what the video showed, they went in a costume. He had his firearm ready. He shot the guy that wound up being the passenger, and then he went around and shot the driver once. The driver wound up losing his life. The passenger got shot in the arm, but he survived. Immediately, they arrested this guy. Charged him with murder, attempted murder, all kinds of craziness. In Florida, this is documented. He was hanging in a smoke shop to try and avoid a problem. He retreated in a state where it's stand your ground. Now let me make this very clear. The guy that died and his friend that got shot was white. The guy that defended himself was black. This is Florida, where they brag and they beg and boast about protecting yourself and protecting yourself. No, protect yourself. Oh, we got constitutional carry. This guy had to protect himself, and it is documented. Even all the business owners came out and spoke on his behalf and said, he comes here all the time. He retreated from them. He didn't go out in a costume even when they started. He retreated from them, and they locked this man up. This is the same Florida where the woman shot the other woman through the goddamn door, and it took a week of protesting to get her charged. The NRA, all the gun nuts out here, all the people who say they support the Second Amendment, where they at? You see, when Philando Castillo had to defend himself, the same thing happened. I noticed that, and I pointed that out several times. Mandatory carry, I appreciate you being in here. I see we got 3 people in here. Them likes ought to be up to 3. Get them likes up when you come in here. I'm gonna tell you why I decided to do this stream. A lot of people don't want to tread in this particular water because they're afraid of offending somebody. But as a legal firearms owner, I have one thing that constantly stays in the back of my mind. The one thing that constantly stays in the back of my mind is I know I don't enjoy my Second Amendment rights freely like everybody else. Even though I follow the law, I know that in the back of my mind, just like a lot of you out there, even a lot of gun tubers that look like me. We understand, we have it in the back of our head that if we defend ourselves against a non-black person, it doesn't matter how we retreated like this guy just did down in Florida. Once we defend ourselves, the law goes out of the window. It's not over with for us. The NRA, when Philando Castillo lost his life, the NRA didn't say one word. Hell, Daniel Penny killed Jordan Neely because he was hollering on the subway. didn't pose a threat to him. This man down in Florida went to try and get away from them. This is what I constantly tell everybody out there about being legally armed. We don't ever advocate that you be the aggressor. This guy went to a place that he frequents in broad daylight. And he tried to avoid the situation, and now he's in prison. And he's down there in Florida. You can best believe the odds of him beating this is slim. It's going to take the NRA and everybody else out there to even for them to consider dropping the charges on this guy. All because he defended himself after he ran from a state he didn't have to run in. It's all on video. I touched on this subject once before about us as black people having diluted Second Amendment rights. Just the mere fact that we get stopped with a firearm is enough to get us shot. And they'll even say, well, he had a gun, but it's not illegal to have a gun. You don't know that firearm is illegal until you take it and you run it. So the mere assumption of us having a firearm could wind up deadly. For those of you who don't know, down in Texas, you had that dumbass police officer call herself running somebody's license plate, and instead of putting AR for Arkansas, she put AZ for Arizona. It came back as a possible stolen. They found out the people had a gun in the car, and they was threatening to kill him and everything. Put a damn middle school boy in handcuffs behind a car that wasn't stolen because she made a mistake. It really, really, really bothers me that us speaking the truth sometimes makes people uncomfortable to the point where we're afraid to tell the truth. We're afraid of hurting people's feelings. Some people don't know that. Some people don't understand that we have Second Amendment rights on paper. But out in the real world, I understand something in the real world. Alright, well, you'll catch up. Appreciate you being here. In the real world, a black man with a gun is still a deadly enough call to get me shot. Period, point blank. I don't have to display it. They don't even have to see it. All they have to do is call in and say they saw me with one. They don't have to say I was threatening anybody. I could have been open carrying. That's enough to get me shot. Even in states where open carry is legal. I'm having this conversation tonight because I want everybody to understand something. Sometimes we celebrate different laws, but we don't think about the enforcement part. A lot of people celebrated Florida's constitutional carry. Now look what happened. The very same people who were celebrating that, where are they now to say this guy defended himself, we gotta support him? You know, I think about that all the time. Anytime I'm stopped with a firearm, I have to be 10 times as careful. Because the wrong move, the wrong officer can get me killed. Owning a firearm is not illegal under the Constitution, as long as you legally bought it. But the insinuation that when it's attached to a particular group of people and it still can be deadly, that's something that needs to be addressed. Like I say, the NRA, Fox News, and all these people who was going crazy, all these people that donated, Vivek Ramaswamy, and all these people donated to Daniel Penny. What about this guy? I've told you guys about Timmins Grove here in Iowa, in Albion, right outside of Albion, and how I stopped going over there to avoid a problem. in a public hunting lane while I'm minding my business and I got just as legal rights as everybody else to be out there, I stopped going to protect myself. Because the possibility of me being shot or me having to shoot somebody and going to prison is there, and I know it. And to keep going out there, no matter how much I like going out there, I'm asking for trouble. I'm asking for an incident to finally happen, and I have to do somebody or somebody do me. And the first thing everybody's gonna want to know, well, if you knew you was having trouble there, why did you go there? This guy, they didn't say his firearm was illegal. So that tells me his firearm was legal. He retreated, and they arrested him in seconds. Just like I'm for law enforcement doing the right thing, I'm for us as the citizens doing the right thing, but I'm also for the law applying equal to everybody. And I understand on paper, I have the same legal rights as everybody, but in the real world, I don't. And the failure to understand that for me can be lethal. It was almost lethal a couple times. I was just 3 or 4 steps ahead of them. I always tell everybody, when you're legally armed, the thing you do the most is keep your hands where they can see them. Don't let them do you what they trained to do when there's more than one officer. One tell you turn the car off, the other one tell you this, the other one tell you do that. And the whole thing is to get your hands where we can't see them, so we got a reason to shoot you. I told you guys, you better always assume when they pull you over, they're looking for trouble. You better assume that they're looking for trouble. Even if they're not. Keep your hands where they can see them. Because that's always the ultimate goal. One officer, just like with the dog, mauling the guy. He had his hands up, he did what he was told, and the canine officer after the attack told him, well, I told you to do something different, and you didn't do what I told you to do, so I released the dog. That's a story for another live stream. But Philando Castile, all the people who say they support the Second Amendment, the NRA, all these gun groups, ain't nobody say nothing about it. Now we got another case down there in Florida where something weird is always happening. There's always an incident of when the black person has to defend themselves, they got a choice to make. Do I possibly give up my life and die? Do I defend myself and risk going to jail? No, not the freeway trucker. Yeah, that officer got fired. But he didn't get fired for his act. According to the paperwork, he got fired because he didn't leave it alone. He didn't shut up about it. He kept making a big deal. That's the word that's out there, according to the police department. Not so much that what he did. You know, I think he got condemned by everybody out there because there was really no need to do that. But the main gist of the story is the story down in Florida, where the guy on the 4th of July had to defend himself, and now he's in prison in a stand your ground state where he ran in a business that he was frequenting to try and avoid a situation. This is the same state that when that woman shot that other woman through her goddamn door, it took a lot of protesting. Yeah, this happened the 4th of July. You can probably YouTube it or Google it or what have you, but the video is there. Now, in the initial report, the police left the part out where the guys left and came back. And the guy said they had already threatened his life multiple times. He went into a business to try and avoid a situation. They left and came back. And just like anybody, when you leave and you come back, in my mind, you went to go get a gun. He defended himself. They got out the truck. He didn't run up to them. They came up to them. He got out the truck and he defended himself. And he's sitting in prison right now. Down in Florida where they passed a law that says you can run over protesters. This is supposed to be a stand your ground state. This man retreated. He don't have a duty to retreat, but he retreated anyway because he understands the possible outcome of him defending himself. In the back of my mind, I think about that all the time. If I ever have to defend myself, the possibility of going to prison. Don't matter how much I run off. It's like this guy, it's on video. That's the only thing that may save him. All this is on video, that he got away from them. And the business owners around there know him real good and spoke up for him. Oh, what's going on, Miss Rebecca? I'm feeling good. I kept saying Rebecca Thomas, but it's Towns. Now that I can see paying attention, because it's like a slur. Look like it's Rebecca Thomas, but it's Towns. I'm sorry. I'm feeling good, man. I just doing this impromptu live about protecting yourself and about understanding that, especially for black folks, the buck don't stop there for us. Just getting legally armed. We are always in a situation where we damned if we do, we damned if we don't. And I just wanted to address that to everybody to show that even in a state like Florida, that's a stand your ground state, this continuously happens. Every time you look up some dude down in Florida is being accosted, and once he defends himself, if he's black, oh, you got a cold? Nah, that ain't good. Get you some orange juice and lemons. Orange juice, lemons, and peppermints. That's what we used to have back in the days, back in old New Orleans. Back then, they'd go send you to Hanks to go get you some of that hot crawfish, and you damn sneeze it out. It run out of your nose. That crawfish, spicy crawfish, run the cold away from you. I know it sounds superstitious, but that's what we used to do. I'm kind of lost for words because this was an impromptu, but I just thought I better get on this. While it's still a small story, so when it kind of blows up, you guys can see what I'm talking about. But on top of this situation that happened in Florida, there's something else I wanted to get to tonight. I wanted to talk about false media narratives. And your baby boy is sick too? That ain't good. Since the inception of the media has been used to do all kinds of things. Media has made it to where we in this country, we're afraid of the help, and we brace up to the threat. We hug the threat, and we're afraid of the help. And what sparked this, and me even wanting to talk about this, was the Tree of Life Synagogue down there in Pittsburgh. Yeah, by the way, hit the like button when you come up in here. The assailant was convicted and sentenced. In New Zealand, I believe that mass shooting in New Zealand some years ago was at a Jewish synagogue. You just had earlier this week a guy go into a Jewish school, but he couldn't get in because the doors was locked. So he got into a shootout and he got killed. And it just made me think about something. You know, for the last 30 or 40 years, this thing about black people, but black men in particular, being anti-Semitic has been blasted all over the mainstream media. They have gone out of their ways to make us the face of anti-Semitism. Yet, it's not none of us that's committing none of these harmful and hateful acts. We're not running up in synagogues full of people worshiping and shooting them. We don't do that. When Kyrie Irving posted a link to something that Netflix was showing, or Amazon Prime, that's ran by a Jewish man, by the way. Oh, you had everybody coming out. Jonathan Greenblatt opened his mouth talking about we put him in his place. Mr. Phil Knight with his big mouth came out there. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about, Lee 77? You seen that video? That dude in Florida did everything he could to avoid that situation, and he's locked up. That's the kind of BS I'm talking about. But you know what? That's the reality of living as one of us. Even being legally armed, we always have to think about, if I defend myself from this motherfucker, I gotta have money to fight in court now. We got more of a choice of being judged by 12 or carried by 6. Even under the law. So back to what I was saying about the false media narrative. When Kyrie Irving tweeted that link, the Jewish community came out and condemned him. He had a lot of black folks condemning him. Everybody was calling him anti-Semitic. He didn't say one word. All he did was tweet a link to something that Amazon was running. Ari Emanuel, everybody was showing their natural ass. Yet, where was they to do all this talking about this when this trio-like synagogue is happening? This guy just got sentenced last week, and then you had a guy just go up in there and try and shoot that school full of Jewish kids. Where's y'all boy, Michael Rappaport, Mr. Yo. Y'all black boy, y'all wanna be black boy. Where is he at? You see this narrative about black men being anti-Semitic? That's dangerous. That puts us all in harm's way. Because what it makes us say is, if we ever disagree with somebody that's of the Jewish faith, that we're promoting hate. Don't matter how much we checking in with facts, we're promoting hate. And the inference is that we're going to have violence that's going to come behind it. We're not doing that. You can say what you want about Pookie and Ray Ray. They ain't running up in synagogues full of people and airing the place out. When Kanye went through his little issue, you had them all out here. They wrote all kind of articles talking about, it came out, the Lobby USA and all that, was talking about how the Jewish community see black men, young black men, as the biggest threat to them. How? These type of narratives are dangerous. I know they're political and racial, but they're dangerous. Because it puts something false out there in the world that's not happening. Just like they tell you, we the biggest criminals in the country. Per the FBI numbers, white men are arrested more, black men are convicted more, but on the back end, we lead the damn country in exonerations. We've been exonerated for so many crimes that states around the country is changing their laws to not compensate us. Or in Missouri, they changed the law to say if you wasn't sentenced to death, we don't have to let you go for being wrongfully convicted. While everybody was watching Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court ruled on another case saying that if you've been wrongfully convicted and your state Supreme Court don't let you go, the Supreme Court not going to hear your case anymore. Do y'all guys and girls know that out there? Your Miranda rights. Joe Biden sent his Inspector General to the Supreme Court lobby. Yeah, get rid of that. No punishment for not reading Miranda rights. An officer can't be punished for not reading you your Miranda rights, which means basically they can not reach your rights and don't have to worry about nothing. If you have not watched the video that I'm talking about, happened on the 4th of July in Florida in Divine Springs, I hope I'm saying it right. You need to go watch it. Because that media write-up and what actually happened was two different things. The media showed that, Your fiance sick, he got a cold. God damn, you got a house full of sick people, Rebecca. Shit, you better get you some damn crawfish. I'll go get you some orange juice, get you some lemons, get you some peppermint sticks, stick them in the lemons, and suck on the peppermint and drink the lemon juice. You'll get rid of that shit. Put your damn jogging suit on with some socks. Put plastic on your mattress. Get up under about 3 blankets and go to sleep. You'll sweat that shit out. I just thought it was important to address that and to ask, where's the NRA? Where's all the people down in Florida who was talking about, yeah, we need to protect ourselves? Where they at the rally for this guy? In a stand your ground state, this man ran. What do we always tell you here on YouTube, the Second Amendment media? Unless you're in your home, if you're in public, try and avoid a problem. Yes, we carry legally owned firearms, but we don't go out looking for trouble. And this guy is on video doing everything we preach, running away from something. And he finally got cornered and had to defend himself, and he goes to prison. Amidst being called all kind of racial slurs. See, we got this saying where I come from. Don't let somebody leave. Because you let him or her leave, no, I'm not asking him for help. I'm just saying, they do all this screaming about defending yourself and all that. Where they at now? But we got this saying where I'm from. If somebody threatened to take your life, don't you let them leave. Because if they leave and they come back, they coming back to take yours. And this guy understood the threat. These guys threatened his life multiple times and been corroborated. And they left and came back. Yeah, I got my issues with the NRA too. You know, I'm not a member. It's just I just noticed they pick and choose when they want to come out. You know, I'm not a member. I do support the Second Amendment wholeheartedly. I think anybody that is able to be legally armed should be. Very point blank. Yeah. Well, you know, it's not that I'm hating on the NRA or begging them for help. I'm just pointing out something. How they like to pick and choose when they come out there. It's a wild, wild place we live in. Man, it's a wild place we live in. I'm all for law-abiding citizens protecting themselves. Goodness knows I am. But I'm for applying the law equally. Even though I'm for it, I understand that's not the way it is. So I always have to tell you guys and girls out there, you have to live life according to what it is and not what you think it should be. Yeah, man, get to work. Yeah, go on. Go on, mandatory carry. I appreciate you stopping by. You always showing me support. Rebecca, I don't know what to tell you about your family. Y'all got to get it together, girl. Look, people. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to jump off here. Protect yourself. We're living in a society where you're gonna have to start putting you some bail money on the side. If you live down there in Florida and you ain't white, you're gonna have to. Because you know what? We keep getting accosted down there. And it seems like every time we defend ourselves, here come the cops. That spreads this message of we're not allowed to defend ourselves. I just thought it was bullshit that this happened, especially when I seen the video. It wasn't doctored, and the one thing the video did was tell the full story. You can see them as this guy walking up, just jump out of the truck and start with him, and he just goes right on about his business, and he goes in those businesses to avoid a problem. They even come in the smoke shop and tell him, come on out here. We're gonna deal with you. They leave and they come back. What much more do you need to stand your ground? Would you have to wait for them to pull a gun out and point it at you before you reach for yours? These false media narratives that we running around here, be it anti-Semitic, when we not the ones running up in these places full of Jewish people, airing the place out, we not doing that. You can't point to any hateful acts that we committing. We're not going around bombing these people and bombing their businesses. In Harlem, you're not seeing a bunch of Jewish people stretched out every day. Brooklyn, the bridge, when you're going under that 278 Brooklyn Queens Expressway, you ain't seeing a bunch of them stretched out because we done them something. Stop pushing that lie that we out here, we fucking dangerous and we anti-Semitic, because we haven't done shit to anybody. We're not the ones going in there airing the places out. To everybody down there in Florida, you better protect yourself. You're gonna have to move strategically. The governor emboldened a lot of people down there and even got that constitutional carry passed. I want to say thank you to everybody. I'm going to jump off of here. This was kind of an impromptu live. I didn't even get to basically write up all my notes and do what I wanted to do to stay on cue. It was just kind of a freestyle scramble off the head. It's getting dark. I've been up since early this morning. I want to go and relax. Depending on my day tomorrow, I might do another live tomorrow afternoon. I'll give you guys and girls ahead of time notice. I'll be more well ready. I'll be well prepared. Hit me in the comment section. I want to say thank you to everybody that did follow through. At the peak, we saw 10 people. I got 7 likes. Come on, them other 3 people. Jump on back up in here and hit that like button for me. Hit me in the comment section and let me know what you think. Until next time out there, everybody, stay safe, stay on high alert.